All right, everybody, this is the photo room. Let me show you how to use it. All right, so first thing you're gonna do is you're gonna log into the computer just like normal. This computer, just like all the others, has OpenDental, XDR, and everything that you should need. But it has one extra app on here that we will use to actually capture the photos. This will come on automatically when you turn on the camera. So to turn on the camera, there is a power switch on the top left. You just flip that and the camera turns on. The software will come on automatically and it will take you right to the remote shooting feature. The other thing you need to turn on is the flash trigger. This will go to sleep when it's not being used, so you probably will need to turn it on. It has a power button on the side. Just press and hold it until you see the screen come on, and you should be good. This should communicate with the two flashes there, and then you should be all set. The first picture that we're going to take is always just going to be of the face. We need to adjust the flash setting to make sure that that's correct. And to do that, you are going to just press on the side knob here and turn it down. We're going to go for 1/8. Always, there's also on the side of this flash trigger a little lightning bolt. Hit that and that will cause the flashes to fire. If it was on 1/1, that means it's full power. You want to just make sure that that full power is released, because when you switch it to a lower power, that full power is still there. Once you release it, the next shot, you see that one is the correct power. So once you've done that, then you're actually ready. Have the patient get seated, and then what you're going to do is, I tried to simplify this as much as possible. All the settings will be controlled right here on the screen. Now, there's really only two that you have to be worried about because I set everything else up to be perfect. So right here on the top left, this is when you pick your mode. I created two custom modes. The C1 is going to be for the face photo. You just click on that and then the camera is set to that. Then what you do, a very, very important thing to do, is you need to click on this folder button. Once you do that, it's going to take you to this screen, and then you need to hit this customize button, because what we're going to be doing is actually creating a folder where these photos will go to, and that will be the patient's name. So click customize. The first line, type in the last name of the patient, and then the second line, type in the first name of the patient. Leave the third line as the shooting date. This will help us, have the date also after the patient's name, which is very important for patients that have the same first and last name, or the same patient when we take multiple days, so that we can track it over time. Just hit OK. Hit OK again. Now every picture you take is going to go into that folder. What we're going to do now is just hit this button and the camera will take a picture. Because there's nobody here right now, the camera can't focus, but the camera will focus perfectly, I guarantee it, as long as the patient is in the screen. You can also, before you hit capture, if you hit this live view shoot, it actually will bring up the image so that you could see the patient. In fact, I highly recommend you do this actually. And then once you're ready, I'll just give it my hand so I can have something to focus on. Take the shot. The shot should come up in preview in a separate window, but if it's not, you can hit this other functions button and hit quick preview. And then it'll bring up this window. So now, when you take a picture, it's going to show up right here. And because my hand is behind the flashes, you're not seeing anything right now, but you should see it perfectly. It'll also show up on the camera itself. So once you have taken the face photo, you are going to change the settings to click this again and hit C2. Now it configures the camera to have the proper settings for the close-up pictures that we're going to take. You also need to bump up the flash power. So we're going to come over here again, wake up the flash, and then just turn the knob again, or you can actually use your finger. Go full power, 1/1. That's all you need to do. Then you're going to unlatch the camera from this monopod. To do that, left hand underneath the lens, flip this switch right here, and then hold the camera like this with your right hand. There's always going to be 2 cables connected to the camera. Make sure that you do not detach those. The USB, which is connecting to the computer, and then there is a power cable to a dummy battery so that you never have to change out the battery on this camera. But what you'll do now is you'll walk up to the patient, you'll take a smile photo, and then we'll have retractors here. You will take a retracted photo, occlusal shots. I'll show you guys all the pictures that you need to take, and then we'll do a demo here in a little bit. Once you are done taking the pictures, you want to come back. This camera should either be in your hand or mounted securely to this monopod at all times. Please never put it down on the floor, or on the chair, or on the countertop here. You want to make sure it's either securely in your hand or mounted here. And to get it mounted here, all you do is you angle it forward a little bit, put it in here, and then once you push it down a little bit, it should automatically latch by itself. This lever will go in. Once you want to unlatch it, just open it again, and then you can take it out. Now, sometimes what I've noticed is there's a little safety screw here. If that goes, then you won't be able to unlatch this. So just this tiny one, you might have to pull it towards you, and then you'll be able to unlatch it. When you take a picture, a preview of that picture will come on the screen, and I have it set to stay there until you half press the trigger button again. Once you do that, you'll be able to see your next picture. Always, always, always make sure that you're checking your picture to make sure it came out right and you got everything that you wanted in there. Lighting is correct and all that, but then also everything is in focus. When you take a picture, I don't want you actually to press this trigger button. What I want you to do is touch the screen, because when you touch the screen, it's actually going to focus right where you touched and take the picture at the same time. So if you see here, it focused where I touched and it took the picture. Now, if you are holding a mirror and having to take the picture, that's a little bit different story. You will have to press the trigger button. But otherwise, when you're taking close-ups, when the patient is holding the retractors and you're taking the pictures, left hand underneath the lens, please never turn any of these. This lens does not zoom. There's no zoom function at all. This is a focusing ring, but we will never, ever, ever use manual focus. It's always autofocus. Make sure that these settings stay like this at all times. The first one should say full. That means what distance the lens is allowed to focus to. AF, so this should be on the left. And then stabilizer should be on. This will get rid of any shakiness that you might have that might affect the photo quality. This here, the SA control, should just be in the middle. I have noticed pictures can get kind of messed up if this is slid to the sides. And then again, no zooming, no focusing. Don't mess with these. All you're doing is holding it. There's another knob here. This changes the aperture, which would really mess things up. Try not to do that. I actually have the camera locked, so you're not able to change those settings. But if you hit this lock button again, it just unlocks it. So if you hit it. Now here's the cool thing is if you accidentally, let's say, unlock it and accidentally mess up your settings and things are not turning out like you want them to, all you have to do is either come back to the computer here and then just pick your setting again, or go to a different setting and then come back to that one, and then it will reload all your settings that like they're supposed to be. But try to have the camera locked so that if you do touch something on accident or flip a dial, it doesn't change anything. When you come over here, you'll notice that where the patient is sitting, these lights may or may not have the lamps on. I think this will help the camera focus a little bit better, and these lights are very weak, so they're not blinding the patient or anything like that. But these need to be facing the patient, otherwise if they're a little bit off, they are not going to, you will have a lot of bad lighting. So these are vertical, so the patient's height shouldn't really change things, and as long as all the patients are seated in the same position, you shouldn't have to move these. So because of that, I put these little circular stickers to show you exactly where the tripods should be, so that in case it gets moved, which will undoubtedly happen, you may have to move it to let the patient in, although at this current configuration, most patients should be able to be fine in there. But if you do have to move it, it's not a big deal. It's okay. Move things, clear up the space. But these stickers will help you line things up so that when you put the tripod and all of its legs are where they're supposed to be, you know that it's pointing in the right direction. If you do need to change the height on these, it's this guy here. Don't mess with this one because this changes the angulation of the strobe itself, which we never want to do. This, you just turn it to the left, it'll unlock this, and then it'll go up and down. One thing I forgot to mention, with the camera, you will absolutely most likely have to adjust the height of it. I tried to make it, very simple so that you don't, it doesn't go left or right, and it doesn't go tilt up and down, because we want a straight shot and we don't want anything to the right or left. That's why the chair needs to be in this position so that it's not too far to the left or the right, so that the lights always face it, but then also the camera is pointed at it and where it's supposed to be. Now, in order to change the height, that's very easy. All you do is turn this knob here, just a quarter turn to the right, and now the whole thing, a little bit more to the right, can move up. And this is, even though it seems like a small adjustment, this will make sure that any patient can, if they're tall, will still be able to center them in the frame. So that's another big thing, is you want to make sure that the patient is centered in the frame. I have the grid on, and you want to make sure that they're centered. Ideally, their eyes should be on this line right here, but you just want to make sure that the whole head is there and in the center. Once you have taken the pictures, they're not being stored on an SD card. They're going directly into the computer, and they're going into that Photos Shared folder. So that folder is on the network, it's on the server, so it's accessible from every single computer. So you don't have to stay here and do the next step. You can go and do it from any computer. But this, again, this folder is where these are being stored. So the patient that we just did is this one right here. If I double click on it, these are the pictures that I just took. And what you'll want to do is, edit them if you need to. Preferably, we're not doing any editing, because if you're taking perfect shots, hopefully you don't need to. But if you do need to edit, and let's say crop an image, it is very, very important, because I'm pretty sure this is how you guys are doing it currently. When you are doing this, do not keep it on free. It needs to be on original. That way, we're not getting pictures that are too narrow or too square. It stays in this angle, and I'm totally fine if it means there's extra stuff where you're capturing more retractor or lip, because I'd rather have that so that we have extra image to work with if we want to put a picture and the use it for before afters or anything like that. But if it's, you know, like we typically do, and it's a retracted shot this narrow, I can't use this on a website. I can't use this anywhere because it's not really workable. So make sure that you keep this setting on original. Once you're done, just hit save, and it'll be saved in that same folder. Then you can go into XDR and import it into XDR just like how we always have. Okay guys, at the end of the day, please just turn off the camera. And again, that's this little switch. A little bit like that. And then you are good to go. You don't have to worry about turning off the strobes. I have those, they will automatically turn off at the end of the day and turn on automatically also at the beginning of the day. We also have 2 video lights. So those are cool. So if we decide to make videos, those will be helpful. In order to turn those on, there is a switch in the back. What you want to do is grab either Dr. Tomasic or Dr. Wolfington. One of those 2 giraffes can help you turn it on. Or grab a ladder. Nah, I'm just kidding. You know, it wouldn't be me unless I overcomplicated things a little bit. So basically, all you have to do is say, Alexa, lights on.
Okay.
And then they come on. Alexa, lights off.